Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, October 21st, 2023. For me, another day of learning and growing. I hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So today I just want to kind of go over an article that I came across on Indeed, something I've been thinking about for the past few days, and a topic that I want to talk about. This is going to be a little bit different than the formats of my videos because I want to give very thoughtful answers to making better decisions. As a matter of fact, the name of this article is 12 Ways to Make Better Decisions. So we'll see how this goes. This could be great. This could be terrible. But either way, I'm putting it out there. So if you don't know my background, I was diagnosed with lupus, in particular systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE, the most common form of lupus, back in May of 2019. I was in and out of the hospital 6 times within a 2-year period. As of June 2020, identified at that time I had $115,000 worth of consumer debt, and I believe that was the breaking point for me to decide to tackle it and not go further back into debt. So as of today, I'm just shy of $60,000 worth of consumer debt. I'm going to give an update at the end of the month, which I believe is going to be next weekend, as to what my total numbers are. I stepped down from a role in management in my career. I've been just trying to rebuild my life as best as I can. Became a first-time homeowner at the end of 2021. And yeah, so here I am today. So let's just go ahead and dig into this article. So the first topic, or the first point for 12 Ways to Make Better Decisions, is try not to overthink. Yeah, so basically the article talks about when it comes to decision making, you do have to weigh the pros and the cons and potential consequences of that decision. But overthinking the decision can basically make you indecisive. And, that's something I think about a lot. I remember when I started getting sick, and it was very noticeable to people that I was sick. But I was fearful about going to the doctor. I definitely was given a lot of thoughts. It was like, what if they find some deadly disease? There's nothing they could do about it. What if, I go there and so if I pass away in the hospital, or if I lose my job over this, and things like that. It's just I was constantly thinking about that. And at night when I was at home alone, and I would wake up and I'd vomit in the middle of the night, and I would have a hard time with my balance, and it was painful to get in a shower or things like that. And when I should have gone to the doctor, I was sitting there overthinking my situation. Or, for example, the past few years where I've been working on my career designations, that's just actually a good thing. When I went into it, I said, okay, I think, this would be good for my career. And I just went ahead and started taking these exams, getting designation after designation. I'm working on a big one right now. I've got 2 courses left. I'm probably going to take my next exam in the next few weeks, and then I could just move on to the next thing. I didn't overthink this. I just decided to go ahead and do it. And that's how I am now, is when there's something I think that's going to be beneficial or good, not only for me, but for my family, then I will go ahead and act on it, as opposed to just overthinking it. That's I totally agree with that. So moving on to the next point number 2, take care of yourself. So when it comes to taking care of yourself, there's some things I agree with this point, and that, yes, you should get adequate sleep. You should definitely drink water. and that's pretty much what it talks about, and how you can get better sleep. Now, I can't speak on this topic because basically for the past 20 years, I get by with very little sleep. A few hours here and there. If I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, then that's a good night. But generally, I don't get more than that. I think more importantly is, speaking only from my experience, is that the past few years I've been trying to get better health wise, and as much as I want to help people, I could drive myself into the ground trying to help people. And if I don't, spend enough time trying to help myself and just trying to rest and get better, I could prolong this illness, or not see any improvement to my health and my mental well-being. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even ask me anymore for help, except maybe financially, because I just physically, a lot can be taxing on me. So I definitely would say that's something that I can work on more when it comes to taking care of myself, especially when it comes to the sleep aspect. Drinking more water is always a good thing, 8 glasses a day. But I would say, you definitely have to take care of yourself to be able to make a better decision. Moving on to point number 3, remove yourself from the situation. Yeah, so, removing myself from the situation. Now, I do understand that, especially one of the biggest things I'm dealing with right now is actively paying off my consumer debt. Is still a big debt. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to have a little bit of a setback this year because I'm trying to rebuild my emergency fund back to 100%. But also, I took on a little bit more debt to get a home security system. It wasn't a lot, but it'll probably keep me from at least hitting the $10,000 goal that I wanted for this year to be able to pay off. As a matter of fact, we only have 2 months left, so I'll probably be short a few $100s of that goal. When really, I want to try to accelerate my debt pay down as much as possible. But, how can I remove myself from the situation and sort of look at myself from the outside in? What can I do to either accept that this will be the pace for a little while, considering that my health isn't all that well, and I shouldn't try to force the situation, try to really accelerate down the debt payment, because what I could do is get a second job, but then I would run myself down, or I could do something illegal. Now, of course, that's not even an option. But I just need to step back and say, okay, how would somebody else see me in this situation, trying to pay off what's remaining, less than $60,000 worth of consumer debt. But keeping in mind that at some point I have to build a full emergency fund and also pay off my mortgage and prepare for retirement eventually. How do I not let all that overwhelm me, and knowing that I have to make sure I take care of my health? So I get that removing yourself from the situation and taking sort of a 50,000 feet view of it is helpful to make a better decision, and that's something I would definitely think more about. Okay, moving on to number 4. Don't shy away from your mistakes. Yeah, so hopefully you're reading this article, but don't shy away from your mistakes. Yeah, that's definitely something I embrace. I made a lot of mistakes over the years, whether it was in music or personal relationships. Try not to make a lot of mistakes in personal relationships, career-wise. Budgeting, it's like, for example, when it came to budgeting, when I was first learning on the Brad Long at ZeroDebtCoach.com back in May of 2021. At the beginning, I was, trying to get all my numbers to work, learning how to budget only the money that I had, not budgeting money that I didn't make, because back in the past I would try to make a budget for the entire year, which when you're budgeting, that's something you can only do month to month, really, for it to be effective, personal budgeting at least. And I'm showing you my mistakes, like this entire year, I'm showing you my progress with paying down debt, but I'm also showing you, the mistakes that I'm making, kind of, sort of, when I had the month where I only paid off $100 worth of debt because I took up more debt, things like that. But also, I think about my job, when I make mistakes on a job, how can I learn from that mistake and then build a system to prevent from things like that from happening. As a matter of fact, I think of it as minimizing mistakes. I can't shy away from those, and I'm just very honest about it. Accept that I fess up to them, I own them, and that's just definitely something. Another point that I agree with. Moving on to point number 5, examine the opposite of your decision. So what would be the opposite of my decision to pay off consumer debt? Or the opposite of that decision would be not paying it off and just going the way that I was going, overspending, not having a clue of how much I'm spending paycheck to paycheck, not planning for the future, not having an emergency fund, not having security. I've been paying on my home now for over 20 months. And, I'm grateful that I hadn't had a month where I felt like I wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage. So, yeah, examining the opposite of my decision, sort of indecision, really. There's absolutely no way that I would choose that decision. This is the right decision to tackle my consumer debt head on. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, putting a check mark to that point. Ask for feedback is point number 6. Yeah, so, it's okay to ask for feedback, and especially for somebody who's going through a similar situation and they may be on the other side of it. But asking for too much feedback can make it harder to make the final decision. So I'm just going to say that, yeah, if they're like I was saying just a second ago, you see somebody who's going through a similar situation, maybe somebody who's have paid off their consumer debt, and or who's dealing with a similar health situation, and you see that they're in much better shape than you are. Definitely ask for feedback on the decision that you're going to make, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Number 7, give yourself advice. I hadn't really thought about that, but that's a good point. Give yourself advice. So a big part of my life right now is budgeting and paying off consumer debt. What would I tell myself? I would say, Ray, make sure you're not cheating yourself when it comes to this process. You're either all in or you're not. Give yourself a little bit of grace. This is not perfect. The process isn't perfect or going through it. Nobody's telling you to do this, but you accepted the challenge and you've been doing it for 2 years. Why switch paths now? Why stop doing what you're doing? Look for ways to improve, to tighten up. But, all in all, I think you're doing a good job. So, my advice to you is to keep track of, of your spending, of your income, and make sure that you're sleeping better and that you're consistently eating. And one thing I need to tell you to do more is to get more exercise because you're not getting enough exercise. Yeah. So give yourself advice because sometimes that advice can be good. Manage your emotions is the next point. Yeah, I do truly believe that emotions can play a role in your decision making. You could be overly excited about something, or you could be just completely down about it. I would definitely say that there is a balance with having or dealing with emotions when it comes to decision making. I know when I decided to step down from my role in management, I would probably say a lot of it was driven by emotions because I was so sick. And honestly, I didn't think I would make it through that summer or that year. And I made the decision to step down. Now, looking back, what if I said, okay, let me look at this thing rationally. Maybe I will get better. Maybe I'll get enough care that it would take a short period of time before I'm back at work and doing a thing. Learning how to be a manager for one thing, but continuing on with my career, who knows where that would have led. But, if that's one thing I can go back and do, maybe just got to step back and look at the situation with a little bit more clarity and not being so emotional about it. So we have to manage our emotions before we make any decision, whether it be big or little. So I'm going to put a check next to that. Number 9, weigh short and long-term consequences. Yeah, so basically, and I apologize, but everything for me goes back to the past few years when it comes to paying off consumer debt. So before I learned how to budget, I was keeping track of every penny that I spent, every check that I made, so I knew to the penny exactly how much debt I had, but that was it. I was still spending the way I spent. I was still using my credit cards. I was in an insane amount of debt and didn't know what to do. And then I was given a system as to how to do this, and I had to change everything, the way I was doing it, except for the fact, the way of my tracking, I was able to build that in. But it was scary. It's definitely something that I knew in the short term was going to be tricky for me, but it didn't take very long. I mean, it took maybe a month or two before I started to get in the habit of it. But the long-term consequence of me continuing on the path that I was in, I probably would have went even further to consumer debt. I wouldn't have been able to buy a home. I wouldn't have been able to make better decisions as to how to use my money, how to allocate my money, all those things. So, as I would say, I definitely felt out of my element doing this. It just makes perfect sense for me to continue on this path. And hopefully, if that's something that you're doing or something that you want to do, that you weigh both the short and long-term consequences of what you're currently doing and move on. So, number 10, accept the possibility of making a poor decision. I'm not much of a risk taker, to be honest, but I understand the point that they're saying here is you have to be willing to take more risk, and that not every decision you make is going to be the best decision. That being the case, you should have a contingency plan in place in case that decision turns out to be a bomb, to be a failure. And, that's definitely something I'm going to have to work on. I don't have all these things down. I'm just speaking on it based on my behaviors and ways to make better decisions. These are things definitely that I'm going to have to work on. I'm going to keep this close. So I'm probably going to keep this on my coffee table and read it from time to time to be able to continue to make better decisions. Okay, so number 11, stay true to your values. Yeah, so I could definitely understand this point here. So, one of my values is to be a hard worker and to look for ways to improve in areas where I struggle. And I still have a lot of room for growth in that regards. But basing on your decisions on your goals and where you see your situation long term is truly, truly helpful. So, I'm in my 40s now, and, career wise, I may have 18, 20 years left. So I'm definitely, trying to make better decisions when it comes to career planning. As a matter of fact, I'm accelerating things that in the past that I should have done. I'm 12 years into my career. And if I had done these things maybe 5 or 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, I would be further along in my career. But I had the health challenges. So that was a setback. But I'm staying true to my values. As a matter of fact, I've seen these past few years as an opportunity to really grow in areas that I struggled in. So, yeah, that just makes perfect sense. And then lastly, use data. Okay, so, if you're watching my videos, it's very obvious that I'm using data to make better decisions. So, each month to month, I'm showing you what my beginning consumer debt balance was. The highest that I identified it as $115,000, and then what my consumer debt was at the beginning of the year, $67,000. I'm showing you month to month how much I'm paying off, generally around $850 a month, and that gives me an idea of what I'm going to be paying off for each month, and then having that to go back to and say, okay, I'm not going to go further back. I'm doing okay. Or if I'm doing worse, then I say, okay, what do I need to change up to do better? I think that is very important to be able to base your decisions on, to make better decisions. So, this is a topic that I've always wanted to discuss. It's definitely something I've been thinking about more in the past couple of days. And, I think just doing this video today has helped me to really, look at the decisions I've been making the past few years, and now moving forward to make better decisions. I hope that's something that you'll do in your life, whether it's relationships, with health, with your religion, with food, everything. Just that's what I encourage you to do, make better decisions. But anyway, if you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/@LucasLifestyle. As always, thank you for watching. Hope you all take care.